My name is Ahmed. I'm a Metro State student, and I'm going to be discussing physical security and what physical security is, what the common mistakes with physical security is, and what steps to take when protecting your mobile phone or your laptop or any sensitive material that you want to protect. But before I get started with this video, I want to first notify anybody who's watching this video or videos, that all these materials that I will be discussing and all these examples are strictly educational purposes, and I don't want anybody to mistake that otherwise. And any recommendations that I give is strictly for educational purposes. It's up to you if you want to take these steps or not. It's not forced, it's just how I assume things and I think are the best things to do. Like I said, there's many ways to protecting your stuff, but this is basically what I recommend. So with that being said, I want to get started. So what is physical security? So physical security is anything that protects your physical components of your computer or your phone or your servers or anything like that. That could be physical security. That could be a security guard who monitors who comes in and out, or a security system that monitors who comes in and out of your building and what rooms they have access to and what rooms they do not, and what time they could be an employee can be inside a company or what time they're forced to be out. So basically those are any components of physical security, and later on in this video I'll show you how to secure your computers and what steps you should take in protecting yourself from hackers. Most people assume that hacking can only be done online and that their computers are automatically safe, but that's never really the case. Somebody could just walk into your building or your home, or say you leave your laptop inside your car, somebody could break into your car, take the laptop, plug stuff in, and just go in on your computer. So those are many cases, and people automatically assume, oh, it's hacking. When they think of hacking, it's only online. That's not the case, and most people often leave their laptops or their phones or their computers unattended, and later on breaches actually occur because of that, because of people's ignorance. So I want to focus on that aspect, and later on in this video I'll show you guys what steps to take, and for startup companies how to protect their computers and what procedures they should probably take when trying to figure out security. So yeah. Whew. So what people don't realize about physical security is what crimes occur, what are the problem, what causes physical breaches, and what solutions to take. Most people, the reason why they don't take them is because they don't have enough money to protect their stuff. But there are many free things that you could do to protect your company. Say if you're a startup, you can invest yourself in a computer, an access control system that monitors who comes in and out. It's probably roughly, I would say, about, well, the cheapest one is like $300 online, and the best of the best is about 2,000. So you could go up whatever one you want, and there's a bunch of stuff in between that I recommend you guys to take if you are thinking about starting a startup. And basically access control is basically you monitor who comes in and out of the building and what time they're able to come in and out of the building, and what floors they can manage to go into and what floors they're denied. This is usually used by government buildings and government and private companies as well. So they usually use it to monitor who comes in and who has authority. And you could change this in videos online. I mean, sorry. So basically, later on I'll show you how to do that and what companies I recommend you should check into if you're thinking about startups. And if you are just a normal person watching this video and wanna protect their computers, what kind of basic steps you need instead of wasting 2,000 on something important like that. You can find basic stuff that are equally important, like password protectors and things of those natures. And just not leaving your computer unattended would probably be the smartest thing, because no matter how advanced technology gets, our biggest problem is human nature. You see, people, we're very forgetful, or we leave our computers unattended, and that is a huge safety breach. So most common areas people most common people that do it or forget their stuff, or who aren't very aware of how vital their information are students, because students, they have that notion that they're young and that nobody really cares about their information. But they don't understand, some hackers actually prefer the youth because they're that ignorant, and they don't take the time and effort to protect themselves, and they don't understand how important their information is, how important social security is, how important their bank accounts are, and how easy it can be accessed. So basically those are usually the best people they target. And travelers, people coming in and out of the airports or countries, tourists, they don't realize how those people are usually the type to leave their stuff unattended, which later causes a huge problem. They end up losing their laptops, or get their laptops stolen, or get their phones stolen, or their luggage, and then later on their information ends up being in the hands of somebody bad. And those vital informations, like their bank accounts, their passports, their social securities, they're often stolen. So yep. And businessmen and women, they often, they're the most targeted, other than college students and travelers. They're what most hackers look for when they want like a lot of money, or like they're the ideal people to target when they want something. Because they might have really important information about their company or finances or anything like that. And often companies do not train workers on how to avoid these missteps and these breaches. The companies should often train their workers how to use, um, what steps to take if their stuff is hacked, and what steps to take when their computers are stolen, or before that even, like not leaving their laptops or their phones or their work phones unattended. um, Making sure that when they're coming in and out of a building, that, say if it's a company that they work in, most people, they walk in without actually looking around and seeing if somebody following them inside the building, like piggybacking. That's also a huge problem for physical security. People just walking in after other people while they're walking, and then they sneak inside the building, and then that's a huge breach, which causes people, which can cause many other steps, many other things to go wrong. So companies should physically and mentally get employees ready in those situations, so that way they don't put their company and their information at risk. Places most common to So, like I said, work work people often assume that, hey, I work here, so I should be good, I should be safe, but that's never the case. Like I said, you never know who's coming in and out of the building or other people's intent. You might even get hacked within your company. Somebody else might go through your stuff. You never know. And usually breaches are caused within people who know important, vital information about the company. So those people tend to, when they get fired, hack or give vital information about the company. So other places that people often get theft or physical hacked, or like they don't focus on primarily, hackers primarily focus on, but workers don't, are coffee shops. They often leave their computers unintended, wide open for anybody to see, and they just rush off to the bathroom without sometimes even closing the computer, or not even something smart like that. They just leave their computers wide open. Um, One recommendation I recommend with that is basically having a password lock. Um, that will save you so much time. um like, so password lock or timer, so some people call, is basically a system that's built in your phone or your computer, where you set a time that when if a computer doesn't notice movement or typing or anything of that nature, that it will automatically close on itself. And then when somebody tries to enter it in, password pops up. So yeah, that is a vital thing, and most people should set it to like a minute, so that way if you go use the bathroom or close the computer, it automatically pops up and forces the person or whoever's trying to come in a password, you know. And also schools, college students leave their laptops or their phones unattended, and they just walk away, like dorms or anything like that. They just leave their dorms open. That's also a physical breach, which is very difficult to come by. When somebody comes in, they could take everything. And basically, yeah, so those are the three areas most people don't realize breaches can happen. Homes too, I totally forgot about that. Leaving your door open so your somebody could come inside your computer and do whatever they please, unless you have encryptions and other security protocols that most people don't really know about. What crimes occur when somebody is hacked physically or whatever? So usually what hackers do when it comes to um, physical breaches, they basically go through the computer and they look for very important stuff, like your social security or your bank account or anything. And usually what crime occurs is identity theft. When a person gets a hold of your social security or your bank account, they can pretend to be you. They can pretend to do whatever they want in the name of your name, basically, and they could they could file credit cards under your names, because they have your information now, and they have everything they need to be you. So they could file for a loan, they could file for a credit card, and once they get approved, it could severely mess your credit. You might end up owing severe amounts of money. That could lead to fraud as well. This is another thing. Fraud and identity theft are the two huge things that basically happens when hacker does it, when somebody gets hacked. So basically those two things can really jeopardize your name, your credit, your company's name. If you work for a very important company, you probably have sensitive information about that company inside your laptop. which basically just jeopardizes the whole company. And some people have their passwords or information saved on the computer. A hacker could do whatever he wants once he has one foot inside the door. So basically, any computer attacks can and will hurt you. Solutions. One solution I recommend if you're a basic user, computer user, is if you do end up leaving your computer unattended. One thing I recommend is having a really strong password. There are a couple of websites that have password generators that help people create a password, and it just basically makes a whole new password thing, and you can use that, write it down, because what often people do is they basically make common passwords, like their name or their birthday, or stuff that hackers can easily figure out either on internet or just guessing. So these stuff can easily help you in protecting your information. And if you do not have access to that, you can easily what I recommend doing is having a password that's really long, that has numbers and letters and also characters, which makes it easier for you to actually I recommend you writing that down, because it's not easy. If it's not easy for you to remember it, it's not going to be easy for somebody else to remember it. So what I recommend is you writing it down and making sure you memorize that. And one thing also I recommend is not having the same password for all your accounts, your emails, your computer, your anything. Do not have the same password, because if one is hacked, chances of all of them being hacked is very high. So also excuse me. So that's one thing you should also do. And then the other thing I recommend is having actual physical locks on your say your computer or your backpack or your doors or anything like that. If you're a startup, I recommend having an access control system, which basically locks all doors or whatever doors you deem important, and proper authority can only access it. People who are meant to access it. That's a really good thing to have. I know Honeywell's has a really good program that's like, it's pretty cheap but not too expensive, but it's really good. So I recommend that. For say if you're a student or a basic person who's not really looking to start anything, I recommend having maybe a lock on your on your backpack. So when you throw your laptop inside your backpack and you have two zippers and you close it, put a lock in there, so that way nobody could break into it. So when you do end up using the bathroom and leaving your stuff unattended, that will be a good source. Nobody will walk into a school or a coffee shop with like a crowbar and just break it in without people noticing it. One thing is also, like I said, the other thing is having a password lock timer. So basically it locks it as soon as it realizes that nobody's using the computer, or when you close the laptop. Basically it doesn't, when you pop it back open, it automatically asks for a password instead of being left open. That's also one thing I recommend. Yep. And for your phones, do not leave your phones unattended. Always carry them with you. And when you do forget them, at least hide them. And then if you're also a startup, the moment you fire an employee, remember to change their access and their information, so that way the system denies them of entrance. Most companies, they forget to delete the information or the permissions on that very access card that person had, and then that person later comes back and tries to steal a bunch of different things, or tries to hack the computer, depending on their skills with the computer.